New Year off with, and it was. Did you all enjoy it? Yes, no.
Yeah, I definitely did. I had been wanting to read it. Again, like I said, I thought it was a good book to start the new year off. You know, I'm not gonna lie, when I first started reading, I'm like, I picked the bad one. I was like, even though I had heard so many good things, just the first couple pages. I don't know why, but it quickly went away. And I was like, okay, no, I got something. I don't know what it was. It felt redundant. Something about the introduction it didn't grab me right away. But it didn't take long for me to get into it. You know, after a few pages, I immediately did. And I knew it was gonna be a good book. But yeah. No, for a second, I had that feeling. Like that. I forgot whatever that last book was that kids you was talking about I picked. She was like, I should have known you picked the book. It was I forgot. It was when we read it, we reviewed it on the boat. That was my pick.
Oh, Educated.
Yeah, right. I had thought I had did it again.
You didn't like Educated?
Is that no? Well, it was a little strange. The book, the girl was crazy. Like, yeah, y'all know y'all was talking mess about that book, but nah, it was.
Michelle the one talking about she didn't want to read it because we had just read Michelle Obama, so she was
probably. But like I said, I'm a believer. There's no bad books though. I can get something from every book, but you know what I mean. Like, you know, there could be books that's maybe not exciting or boring, but every book has something to gain from it. So if I'm reading a book, it's never going to be a bad book. But it's definitely books I like better. You know what I'm saying? So, but something can be gotten from every piece of literature. You know, anytime somebody took the time to write literature and share their thoughts with the world, I feel like it's valuable.
Yeah. I think that's why majority of the times when you all say I like every book, I do like them because of that reason. I always pick something out of the book and I just grasp that and I grow from there. I go from
That's true. Yeah, no, that's definitely true.
Anybody else?
I like the book. It's like self-help books or whatever. I had just recently finished a book called Untethered Soul. And I thought that was really good too. And this kind of reminded me of that book in a way.
Okay.
Yeah, I get it. I enjoyed it.
Okay. Well, that's good. Danae, did you find anything different, or did you, how did you feel the second time you read this book?
First, I would say I try to remember the 4 agreements as a day-to-day thing, because I know me, sometimes people say stuff to you and you take things personally, and sometimes I may make assumptions. Oh, my auntie didn't call me back. Why? Because she didn't want to be bothered, and little things like that. So reading it the second time, it helped me see things a little bit clearer and try to use it on a day-to-day basis, like whether it's texting somebody or calling somebody. It just helped me personally to do better or think differently, because of how, when you grow up, you think a certain way, and then you read something that helps you expand your mind, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. Right. Okay, so we're gonna get into the questions. The first one is, in the 4 agreements, Don Miguel Ruiz introduces the concept of domestication. What are some examples of how you were domesticated in your childhood?
For me, I think it's just how I thought about myself, and it was a lot based on how I felt others thought about me, including my mom. I know I grew up really not liking my dark skin because my mom always had something to say about it, even though she is who I got it from. It wasn't my dad who I got it from. And so not only my dark skin, but the texture of my hair. I wish I had a better or a softer texture as well, instead of the coarse hair that I have grown to love. But now it still can come up sometimes, but in my adulthood, growing and learning, I've accepted these things about me. So now, no, I don't allow myself to feel bad about it, and I don't allow others to make me feel bad about it either.
That is so good. I was just about to ask when you said your mother, and is she lighter than you? I was just what I was thinking.
No.
Like, no, she's the same complexion as me. And I'm like, what?
Yeah. But my sister
Yeah.
and brother is lighter, so I was the darkest child. My mom's dark like I am, but yeah, she didn't make me feel good about it.
And y'all all have the same mother and father?
Yeah, we have the same
Wow.
mom.
Wow. Oh. Well, sometimes it happens like that, you know. Everybody come out looking different. You know, I'm starting to do that as a child with your mom stuff, because, you know, it can always trickle in adult life, you know what I mean? So I'm glad that you got, you know, past it and figured that, you know, noticed that was the right way for someone to be treating you like that. You know what I mean? Plus I think parents, they know a lot of times how things will affect kids' upbringing. You know, you just say things and you don't think about the consequences later on in life of how that will affect your child. So
Yeah.
Yeah, oh no, she didn't. And that's the thing too, when you talk about parents, how they domesticate us, because the thing is, and it's no excuse for Sandra for how, you know, I mean, commenting on what your mother did or didn't do, but parents in general, a lot of times the things they struggle with, they don't want their kids to struggle with, and it comes out negatively. You know what I mean? Instead of like, yeah, I had a problem with this and I know how it made me feel, and they hate that their kid is gonna feel like that. And instead of delivering that message in a loving way, a lot of time parents, because it's a trigger. And that's the thing. So that's why they said before you have kids, you should handle your triggers, because you're going to, you know what I mean, you allow your kid live vicariously through you. If this is like, for instance, I'm gonna give you an example. You know, sometimes parents had some when they closed the kitchen, and after a while you couldn't eat this, you couldn't eat that, and because for whatever reason. And then it's like, well, my kid, if they want something at midnight, they can have it. It's like, well, maybe that's not the right answer either, to give them whatever they want, but because they were denied it in their kid childhood, they overcompensate. And that's why before you have kids, you should handle your triggers, because giving your kid food at midnight isn't the answer just because your mama wouldn't give you anything. Maybe, you know, a banana or apple. I'm just giving an example. My point is, there's a point to be healthy, right? You know, to raise a child healthily. And it's not always the opposite of what you're giving. You know what I mean? But that's all people can understand. Either they emulate what their parents did or they do the opposite. And sometimes neither is the right answer. The happy medium is the right answer. But because, again, they were domesticated and they domesticated us, that's, you know, again, that's how it presents itself. And, you know, so I'm going to say this book definitely, I felt like my parents did a lot of 4 agreements. I did naturally anyway, before I even knew the name for it. But I have to make sure to be careful with my daughter. And that's, the book really kind of showed that to me more than what my parents did to me is what I'm passing to her.
And to your point, before a person has kids, they should work on themselves first. I had this discussion with somebody recently, and it's like, okay, that's easy to say, but a lot of the times you don't even understand that these are triggers and things that you need to work on until it's too late. You've already had kids and you've already bled onto your kids, so to speak. You know what I mean? But once you realize that's what it is, you can still get help and do better from that point on. Because, yeah, that kind of hit home when I heard it put that way the first time. And it's like, I guess I knew how it made me feel as a child, but thinking it was something that I need to have fixed before I had kids of my own, it wasn't a thought until, for me, my kids were older, and then they were able to express to me things about how they felt about certain things or whatever. So only thing I could do at that point was apologize for if you felt this way, because in my mind, I was doing the best that I could do. with the knowledge that I had,
Uh-huh.
whatever, and I move different going forward. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and honestly, let me just say this too, Sandra, to be transparent. I had children older, you know what I mean. So we're not the same, you know what I mean. Like,
because I was young.
That's what I mean. So that's completely different, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking about when you plan children, and
Oh,
that,
yeah,
you know what I mean. Me and
That's
my husband, we very consciously planned a child. So to me, that's a little different than
really different.
and the fact that you're still willing to do the work, that's honestly says everything. That's everything. You know, it's like, because a lot of parents, like, they won't do that if they feel like that they did something to their kids, like, oh well. But you know, instead of saying like, the fact is you did the best that you could, but we don't know how that's gonna be perceived either, because our kids are whole people. You know what I mean? That's not us. They're different from us. So they're, you know what I mean? So again, they're not an extension of us necessarily. They're whole human.
Right.
So yeah.
Whole self.
So yeah, I feel like it's completely different from people that
It
had
is.
kids that old.
It
Yeah.
is. Yep. That makes a big difference.
Mhm.
Michelle, did you have anything to share? The question was,
I'm hearing, I just may step away because I'm trying to cook. But yeah, I'm hearing when I step.
I'm being nosy. What you making, Michelle?
Girl, I was craving some fish and grits. So I was,
Ooh,
yes.
that's gonna be good. That's some nice, stick to your ribs, stick to your belly food. Okay.
It's so bad, but yeah, that's why. Domesticated. I'm trying to think. What does that mean? Because domesticated to me is from a standpoint of a dog trained. Is that what it means?
Well, he did compare that, but essentially how we domesticate our kids to follow the rules of society, basically. Like, you know, this is how you behave, this is how you act. And essentially people become so domesticated that they deny their true selves, because we are wild animals. And not that I'm saying we want to go around peeing on everything, but it just quells your natural instinct to do anything, talk loudly in spaces, for instance. And the fact is, I gotta talk quietly, I gotta talk like this. That's the domestication. But yeah, he did compare it to the animalistic perspective as well.
Okay. I would say probably for me, growing up in our household, it was always stress that we were gonna go to college. Like, you got to get a college education, Like, that's something that was always stressed as long as I can remember. And so when I first went away to school, I went to SIU, probably the wrong school to go to because it was a party school. And I wasn't a partier because I kind of lived a sheltered life. Like, I didn't really go out like that in high school. And so when I got down there, it was just really free for all, because I didn't have to, in school, I just did my work. I didn't really have to study. It wasn't hard. High school wasn't hard. Grammar schools wasn't hard. But when I went away to school, it was like, I knew I was supposed to be here because that's something that was taught, but they didn't tell me what to do once I got there, that you had to study, that you had to pick a major that you could actually pass. So I just lasted 2 years down there, and then they sent my butt home. So I would say that for me is what I can probably remember, that it was just ingrained and trained in my mind just to do that. But I didn't know what to do with it once I got there. So I would probably say that.
Another Saluki here, Michelle. They have to come home early, but that's another conversation for another time.
Girl.
My daddy came and got me in a truck, but we'll discuss that another day. A moving vehicle. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was about to say, Tabitha, ain't that the same school you went to?
Yeah, Tanisha, I won that on. I think you wrote me one letter before I came back. I think I got the letter before. Like, hey, I don't even think it got to me. That's how long I was gone. Almost no time. Yeah, no. That's exactly where I went, and it's
How
exactly
long were
as
you
Michelle
there?
said.
Was it like a year? You there?
Yeah,
like
literally, girl, literally. I was right back. Michelle did too. Good for you.
But that's a good thing, like that your parents advocated for education. My mom and dad never married. My dad was an advocate for education, but I remember my mom being upset with me about something. It was always something. But I remember her telling me, you probably won't even graduate high school. And out of the three of us, I was the only one that graduated high school. I was the only one that obtained a degree from college or whatever. I feel like being domesticated also in my house with my mom, she kind of, my voice, like I didn't have a voice. I will always keep things inside, even though I had stuff to say, like people would hurt my feelings and I would have something to say as a comeback, but I wouldn't do it because I didn't want to make someone feel like I was feeling. But as I became an adult and found my voice and started speaking back in return, then all of a sudden I was mean or whatever, but because they weren't used to me having my voice. But once I found it, yeah, you can't take it away from me.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I want to say an example of me being domesticated as a child. I want to say that my mom, she was always, about the education and all that. Definitely grammar school and high school, but once you get to college, it's like you do what you want to do. You can leave, you do, you know what I mean? Just you're grown now. But religion was a major thing in my childhood. Like it was all about the Bible, that was a huge area where she always stressed, you got to go to church, you got to read the Bible, you got to do this. I mean, we was in church from sun up to sundown every Sunday, never missed a Sunday. You know what I'm saying? It's like, not only that, you go to Bible school during the week, you go to Christian education during the week. It was a never-ending type of thing. So yeah, that was one thing she always, talked about. So, when I did stray away from that, it was a big, thing. But I thought she was gonna, be disappointed, and she might be was, but she didn't make a big hoopla about it. It wasn't like, you ain't my daughter no more. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, oh Lord, let me probably get on my knees and pray a little harder. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. But yeah, that was one of the main things that was always stressed in my house. It was religion. So yeah. Danae, did you have something else you wanted to share?
I wouldn't say it was a bad thing. My mother taught me and my brother to get up early and take care of business. So it wasn't like a bad thing that I can remember like that, but I can say that it has trickled down to me doing my kids the same way, get up and take care of business as far as something from my childhood. Just get up early, do your work, take care of business, goof off or do whatever later. So that's about it.
Okay. Yeah. All right, question number 2. Don Miguel claims that the human mind is dreaming all the time. It dreams when the brain is asleep, and it also dreams when the brain is awake. Do you agree with this assertion?
Yeah. For some, I don't think for everyone, but for some.
Absolutely. I think it's for everyone. When your brain automatically like goes to sleep or shuts down, you're gonna have dreams. You may not remember it, but you're gonna have some type of dreams that's occurring because that's when you are at your most vulnerable because you're asleep. So yeah, I definitely believe that. I keep having a recurring dream. I probably need to see somebody about it, that it's like trafficking, like child trafficking, sex trafficking, like, I don't know, that type of thing. It just keeps coming in my sleep. And I really have to watch it because I don't know what that is. It's not me being trafficked, but it's just me knowing what's going on, like people being trafficked is just something that keeps coming to me. And it's something I want to get into the field of, but I don't think I could handle it. So I don't know if that's why it keeps coming to me, but I don't think I could do that on a daily basis, I think I would go crazy.
Well, you know, you a therapist, honey. I thought y'all could handle
I ain't superhuman.
any type of trauma, trafficking,
No.
killing. Y'all can handle it.
No, that's
Y'all
not
built for that.
true. No, that is not true.
Oh,
You always get
oh, that's a
your
myth.
niche. Yeah, your niche. Like I didn't think I could go into like death and hospice and grief, but I took a job doing it and it's really something that I like. But child trafficking, sex trafficking, no, that has never been something that I could handle as a person. But I'm just wondering why it keep coming to me in a dream. So yeah, I believe we dream, sleep, wake. Yeah.
I never thought about it dreaming awake, you know. I don't know.
Daydreaming? You don't
Like
daydream?
dreaming awake, like
I daydream
I
about
mean, not
food,
really.
about cupcakes. I mean, you daydream. I'm just saying.
Mm-mm. No, if I want a cupcake, I'm gonna get a cupcake. I ain't gonna dream
Yeah,
about
but
it.
I dream. I mean,
I
before it's a
want it. I
thought.
want it.
Before it's a thought.
It always is a thought first, but
Yeah.
I mean, literally sitting up dreaming, you know.
Well, I think you're
I don't-
taking it in the literal sense.
You don't daydream, Tony. Like your mind don't wander off. That's
Right.
what daydream is. Like your mind wander off, and you think about anything like an event you going to, something. You know what I mean? That's daydreaming. Like it's not like you're very conscious, but it's like your imagination never run away from you. Like everything is exactly as
not
it's very
often.
black and white. Oh, okay. Yeah.
I mean, I don't even dream often. Like she said, I may remember it, but there's very few times where I actually remember a dream. Now, I'm not saying I don't dream. I'm saying I do it a lot. I can't say, oh, I dreamed about this last night. You know, a lot of people, they can talk about their dreams. Like
Yeah,
you
they
just
can
said,
remember. Yeah, but
very
scientifically, we all dream every night.
Mm-hmm.
know?
Pay attention this week, Tanisha, to see if you daydream. I do believe I think you do. You just may not even realize that you went down that path. It might go quick, but just pay attention. Bring it to awareness and see if you actually are having a thought of daydreaming. Because I know I do. When I think of a cupcake, it first starts as a daydream. It's like I think about it and I obsess about it, and then I go get it.
Yeah, I have a daydream sometime of cussing my boss out, perhaps. That's the daydream I have. Like, I'm like, the next time he get on this loudspeaker, that's a daydream. Like, if you think about cussing somebody out, boo, that's a daydream. Like, the next time they say something, this is what I'm gonna do. That's a daydream. Yeah, I definitely do.
yeah. I consider that, I don't know, I just consider that a thought. I don't think of to me, a daydream will be like you're gone. Like if someone say your name, you're just like, huh? Like you don't even know what just happened the last 10 minutes. To me, that's what dreaming out. But just thinking about you cussing somebody out, that's a thought, not a dream. You know what I mean? But I mean, everybody got their differences in what they think daydreaming is. So it is what it is. But I was gonna say something about the book. I don't remember at this point, but let me just keep moving forward. Oh, I know what I was going to talk about, Michelle, because she was talking about the sex trafficking and all that. That's what I want to talk about. It's so funny that you bring that up because I have been on that page too for a while. It just dawned on me, and I thought about the sex trafficking. So I went deep into it. I was looking at books and looking at movies. You know what I'm saying? I didn't thoroughly do it, but I was catching some things like, oh, let me find a book on this. Let me find a movie on this. So it was so funny that you said that today. Because I really want to, touch and tap into that too. You know what I mean? I don't know if I guess I can handle it. You know what I mean? Because it's not something I'm gonna be doing every day. It was just a topic that is not really talked about a lot. You don't really hear about it, but I have found a lot of movies and stuff dealing with it. And I was like, give me a minute. I need to, want to watch it or whatever, but I haven't quite done it yet, but I did have a list of things. And it's also, I saw just the other day that Madonna is being accused of child trafficking or something. I came across that. It was on Instagram. So I'll send it to you if I find it, but they're accusing her of doing that. So I just thought I'd let you know about it. All right, so
Probably a lot of them, if
describe-
they put that one, if they knew Harvey Weinstein, they all was in part of that trafficking.
with
the
Madonna,
traffic-
you mean?
Harvey Weinstein he knows a lot of people in Hollywood in the industry. So he had been charged with child trafficking, and a lot of people have been connected to him, and that's probably what's going on with Madonna.
I think they were
What's
saying
that
something about her
last-
own child.
Huh? What?
They were saying something about she was child trafficking like her own child or something.
What?
What?
Yeah, let me pull it up. Hold on, y'all. Cause I was like, oh my God, they messing with Madonna now.
Lordy's Lordy's
Yeah,
is not
that's
a
it.
child. I thought she was an adult though. She's a kid.
It says Madonna accused of pornography and child trafficking in Southern Africa. Ethiopian World Federation urges President of Malawi to conduct investigation. So pop singer Madonna has been accused of human trafficking and sexually exploiting children by a charitable organization known as the Ethiopian World Federation, according to All Africa. As stated on the Federation website, the EFW, a civic service organization, states that a civic service pushes policies and advocates to change the laws that harm all Black people. Madonna herself famously adopted 4 children from Malawi, a landlocked country located in southeastern Africa. In 2006, Madonna founded a charity called Raising, a group that seeks to support orphans and vulnerable children through health and education programs. The group suggests that the singer is using her Malawian adopted son, named David Branda, for sexual exploitation and social experiments. The petition cites the photos of David wearing women's clothes, makeup, and jewelry. The EWF also alleged that Madonna falsely acclaimed David's dad of being absent when she applied for his adoption. So they got her accused of being of pornography and child trafficking right now in Southern Africa.
Wow.
So I just thought it just yesterday, 3 days ago, I posted.
Oh, okay. I was that's something I thought you meant her biological children, because if she's sex trafficking, she adopted them to do that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's insane. I ain't heard nothing about that.
Me either.
No.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of people in Hollywood be up to the devil's work.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, that sex trafficking, boy, that's something, like I said, people don't talk about. Another thing is the organ trafficking. That's another thing people don't talk about. That's very huge, very, very huge. Okay, but I hope you find somebody, Michelle, to help you figure out what that means, or you know what I mean? You could look it up or go to somebody and talk to them. Because I'm sure it means something, like you said, if you've been dreaming about it. The first agreement is be impeccable with your word. Can you explain why this agreement is so powerful?
I
Anybody?
think it's like words having the power to hurt, to do anything, honestly. Like when I read that, it made me think about the movie with Denzel Washington, Book of Eli. Anybody saw that movie? Okay, well,
I feel so ashamed, but no, I haven't.
Okay, but let me just give y'all the real synopsis that how I made that connection. So the Book of Eli, it was like during one of the apocalyptic times, like, you know, where people scrounging for water, ain't no government, you know, one of those things in the days, right? And so this leader, he was looking for a book. He didn't know what it was called. He was like, it was a book. He said, you can lead people with the book. I need this book. And he had all his men scour libraries that was torn down, everywhere looking for the book. Anyway, it turned out the book was the Bible, girl. That's the book. But he didn't know it was called because by that time, they just didn't talk about it anymore. It wasn't like with the world we know. But he was like, it's a powerful book. And if I could get that book, I can get people to do whatever I want. I can like basically control people. And it's like, but that's how powerful the word is. That's how powerful the Bible is. I mean, wars have been started from words. You know what I mean? Literally. So when I saw that, and the way they play it out in the book, it's actually really amazing. And the thing is, they wanted Denzel Washington to, because again, people couldn't read either. They wanted him to read the book in turn, because he had a copy of the Bible, but girl, it was in Braille. He was blind that whole time. When I tell you, when he was blind, it's like, how he killing all these people blind? He was blind. You won't know that to the end of the movie when he got a Braille copy of the Bible, girl. Like the way he was killing people, it's like he was blind. Is that what you're trying to make me believe? But whatever the case is, the point is that how powerful words are. And that's when I saw that. And you have to be careful with them because words have the power to heal and hurt. You know what I mean? So you have to be careful when you use them. So when I first heard it, be impeccable with your word, I thought it was talking about mean what you say. And that's part of it. And I try to be that person to say what I mean and mean what I say. I don't make promises I can't fulfill. That's just me. I've always, and I appreciate when other people do it as well to keep their word. But as he was talking more on it, when he's talking about gossiping and things like that, I realized he was also talking about, you know, how words affect people and you have to be careful how you use them. So yeah, that was my take on it.
I just want to say something when you was talking about how, you know, we definitely talking about impeccable with your word and how you said it hurts and it can heal people. They gave an example, which I thought was a very good example. They talked about Hitler, remember, on page 27, and they talked about how he, just by his words, he led them into a world war with just the power of his words. I was like, damn. Because I know Hitler killed, you know, all these people, but I don't really know what the fuck happened. I just know people died and there's a lot of people and all that. And Hitler was the person. But they said he led them into a world war with just the power of his word. He convinced others to commit the most atrocious acts of violence. Like, that is so crazy. You know what I mean? So I just thought about that. Like, when you said it you can definitely lead people into war. Like, man, that was just crazy. Like, Hitler killed all the people just by what he told them to do and made people go against each other and manipulated a whole country is what they're saying. So that was the example that I was just like blown away by. But
yeah, that was what made Trump so dangerous.
Yeah.
That was really what made Trump so dangerous because he was leading down that path where it's so many people that was just blindly following him. And he was just talking real hate speech.
That's what they hated him. But, you know, I only saw him on a picture, so, you know, I didn't know too much about the man. But I don't really follow presidential stuff. I don't really follow the news like that. It's just like, hey, he won, okay, you know, because I feel like it's already past us in the first place. You know, we don't have really control of it. We vote, but after that point, you know, he still, no matter what happens, he's going to be in for the next 4 years. So this is what y'all chose, this is what happened, and this is where it's at. Yeah. But yeah, so now Trump is just like a mess, you know. Then he had the tax invasion stuff. So every time they were saying something about what Trump was saying, he was saying some crazy stuff. So just like, dude, I ain't heard nothing you said, to be honest. I don't know. But yeah, the country was definitely wanting him out of the office. Like, yeah, you got to go, bro.
Everybody.
I think even the people that voted for him was, you got to go. Like, that's how bad it was. It was like, we don't want you no more. We thought we did, but
I personally think if we wouldn't have had COVID, Trump would have won again. If we wouldn't have had COVID, Trump would have won again. That's what stopped him from winning.
He almost did. He didn't lose enough for me. Like the margin was too close. Like he didn't lose by a landslide. He did not lose by a landslide.
There's a lot of people that wanted to keep him in the White House.
Yeah, exactly. Because he gave voice, he gave words to their feelings. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's why they loved him so much. He said what they was already thinking, always thinking. Here's somebody, you know, and that's why he was so dangerous. Those words.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like made it okay. It's like, oh, it's okay for me to be openly racist. Thank you, Trump.
Exactly.
Openly sexist. Openly homophobic. Openly. That's what he gave. That's what he gave us to.
Them guys attacked a federal building.
Right.
Girl,
was
that still blow my
raining.
mind. That
It
is the
was-
act. That is the act of terrorism, and I don't know why they
Yes.
acted like it wasn't.
Yes.
I don't know why they
It's
acted like
they
it
got
wasn't.
a slap on the freaking wrist.
Right. That's treason.
Yes.
They would have got their damn head chopped off a few hundred years ago and put on a pike.
Really,
Okay.
if they would have was in another country,
Yeah.
open
Facts.
fire. Hello.
Facts.
So that's what makes him dangerous, because he attacked a federal building and them white men got a slap on the wrist. They don't have to be fearful anymore.
Yeah, I had heard people saying that too. They were saying that people, different things was happening in the stores and everywhere. They was just like, it's all because of Trump. People feel like they can say what they want to say to people nowadays. It's all because of Trump. And I'm like, damn, I had personal people call me telling me some other people from nationalities were saying stuff to Black people, to them, young, old, they was just like, a lot of people was experiencing a lot of things that was going on in, their local grocery stores or just wherever they may go. People were just blurting out stuff and saying racial slurs and stuff like that. And it was like, no, that's because of Trump. He sat up there and he felt like everybody could just go around and say whatever they want to say to us, So I was just like, damn, oh my God, that's crazy, But I had never experienced nothing like it, but I can just imagine you in the store and somebody just start, coming at you saying racial stuff, it's almost traumatizing, because you don't go to jail for the shit, not for real. You say what you want to say. As long as you don't start no fight or nothing like that, but people can walk up to you and just say whatever. And I had never heard of that before. And they was like, no, that's because of Trump. And I'm like, damn. But yeah, it's crazy. I see Tabitha must have stepped out for a second. I guess she'll be back in. So did anybody have anything else to talk about with the impeccable with your words? Can you explain why this agreement is so powerful? Anybody else have something to share?
I don't. I think it was everything was pretty much shared about that.
Yeah, okay. The second agreement is don't take anything personally. What are some of the ways you have taken things personally? Do you believe the opinions of others are more important than your own? Do you take it personal if someone disagrees with you? So first question is, what are some of the ways that we have taken things personally, or you individually have taken things personally? Well, I'll start off. I'll say, let's just say you friends with somebody and, things change and, they're not calling you as much, you don't see them as much, or whatever the case may be, you take it personal, especially if you know that, that person isn't sick, they haven't left the country, anything like that. And it's like, what's going on, what's happening here? So you do feel like you take it personal, and they don't really have anything to justify the situation on why they just up and just stop calling or stop hanging out, that I have taken it personal. So that's definitely an example in my world.
That is an example.
I did just have, yeah.
Sorry, that is an example, because I had contacted 2 friends actually about that, because we used to hang out together all the time, not like together, 2 separate friends, and we used to do our thing, go out, eat, different events, whatever. And then all of a sudden, nobody's calling, nobody's texting, whatever. Time goes past, and I don't want to be the one that's always texting or always calling, saying what's up. Like, I feel like friendships should go always, So finally I asked, like, what's up? Like, we don't get together no more. I don't hear from you. I had one friend that we used to always kick it and we have fun together. And so I'm like, what's up? Like, whatever. So at the end of it, I found out she got into a relationship. She's in a relationship with a new person or whatever. So it's like, well, dang, now you in a relationship, you just cut everybody off. You know, I get it, but you still need to make time for your friends, or you should, but it's whatever. And then with her, also, I call her actually on a couple of occasions. I'm like, I got something to drink over here, blah, 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 blah. And she's available for that. But I told her, like, I don't want to have to feed you or have drinks for you to want to hang out. She's like, no, just whatever, you know. But whenever I say I got drink, I got whatever, here you come. But otherwise, I don't hear from her. So I don't want that one-way kind of friendship.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. Like I still to this day don't understand why people get in a relationship and feel like they have to throw their friend to the curb. You know what I mean? Like your friend been here. And I think that they do it and I think they what do you call it? Take us for granted. You know, like, well, you always been here, you ain't going nowhere. Let me do this over here. And so when I'm done, then I'll be back over there with you.
Right. When did I go to Dominican Republic? I went to the Dominican Republic, went to Punta Cana recently. And I asked a few friends if they wanted to go with me, because there was a whole big group of us. But I wanted my personal friends to go with me or whatever. So I got two of them say they're gonna go. We all paid for the trip and everything. So I'm communicating these different things, different activities. Everything was going good. And then one friend, she just stopped responding. And I'm like, oh, hell, she ain't going, because she's not even responding anymore.
Mhm.
So the night of, okay, I was getting up at like 3 or 4 to go to the airport. And so about midnight, she sent a text, oh, I'm not going to be able to go, family emergency. I said, girl, please quit lying. You been decided you weren't going to go because you been stopped responding to the text. Like, there's no emergency and there's no need to lie. You're grown. Right. And so this was a few months ago now. And so she called me Friday on my way home from work. I would like to take you out for a drink tonight if you don't have any plans. Okay. So now come to find out, the reason she canceled on the trip is because this dude she was with and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, girl, whatever. That was your loss, because I still went and I enjoyed myself. And I'm already on my next trip.
Are we still at this ripe old age dumping our friends for a man? Like, is that what we're doing at this ripe old ass age?
Still happening.
Girl, people still do it. Yeah, they get a man, honey. They don't know you no more. Girl, yeah. They dish you for their man, honey. They still happening. Still to this day. Yes, it is.
I will say it's the reverse for me. I have lost a lot of friendships because they have taken it personal, where in Chicago, I have a lot of friends. I have different friend groups. I used to mix, I don't mix anymore. And then I travel a lot. So I don't wait for nobody with traveling. I'm gonna travel with my travel friends, a group, whatever. So some of it is I've lost really close friends for them taking it personal with whatever I'm doing. I might be doing something where I'm kind of like dismissive or oblivious to their feelings, but if they don't bring it to me, I don't really know. But I think I have more awareness now, but I have lost a lot of friends because they took stuff personal. Like one of my friends, I went to Greece. I told everybody within my friend group, I'm going to Greece, blah, blah, blah. She said I didn't tell her. So we stopped talking. We ain't friends no more. Moving on.
Wow. So they taking it personal because you so busy and you got stuff to do.
Yeah, I'm not waiting.
She's living her life.
Yes, they're taking it personal because I'm not waiting on them. When I was younger, I used to wait on my friends. It was all about them. And then like Lysandra said, once they get a man, they act a certain way. So it's like I move according to how I want to move, according to what I want to do. I don't have no kids. It's just me. I don't even have no dog no more. So I'm gonna do me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And they don't like it. People don't like that when you ain't living your life for them.
Mhm. Absolutely. And it's just so funny because I was talking to somebody this yesterday, and they were talking about something, and I had referred back to the book. I was like, well, just don't take it personal. I'm like, this is really working.
Right.
I'm really applying what I'm reading, so, to help somebody else. But that's all I could think about was, you know what? Just don't take it personal. That's all that came to my head. I couldn't think of nothing else. But I was like, oh wow. Like I would have never said that if I wouldn't have been. I'd have been going right in with them, like, well, no, I didn't do that yesterday. No. Mm-mm. So one thing they say about the 4 agreements, it is gonna definitely take time. That is for sure. Okay. Because
It's a
they're very
daily
simple
practice.
agreements, and yes, they said it's gonna take a lot of repetition. So it's definitely going to be a lot of work. It's not gonna be easy. And it was like, if you fall down, try again the next day, and I was like, oh, that's good. Cause as soon as you mess up, you're like, dang, I messed up. I ain't trying no more. So that was good that they did let you know, like, hey, don't worry, you ain't gonna get it overnight. Cause I'm like, it's some things like you gotta really work at this. But there's always gold on the other side. Pot of gold. Diane, did you have anything to share? Did you finish reading the book? I know you told me you had got it. Did you read it?
Good morning, guys, or afternoon. I just read the intro.
Hey.
I just read the intro. I was like, oh, okay, this book is pretty deep. I mean, I actually, some of it made sense. How you condition to live your life based on what people tell you, deception who you are. So yeah, I read just the beginning of it, but I thought it was pretty deep. I am most definitely gonna finish reading it because
Yeah, it is. It's very very insights, like a lot of insights to that's what it's mainly for. It's the self-help book, and I'm like, I love these self-help. I love them too. So it's not just you, but I thought this was definitely going to be a good piece. Small, but that says a lot.
Right.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's a powerful book, and the way the world's set up today, everybody is just. I was just telling a friend, maybe I was talking to my sister, how everybody is so different. Everybody acts different. The way of the world is so different now. And just like when I came in the conversation you all was having about your friends and stuff like that, that's just where I'm at. I'm the same way now. It's like I don't have a lot of time nor energy to be going back and forth trying to convince you to do anything that I want to do. Like I'm so over it. And like my birthday is coming up next month, and me and some friends was trying to get something planned, and 2 people ended up just going back and forth and shooting it down. I said, that's it. Don't worry about it. We're not gonna even keep going back and forth because I'm gonna do me anyway. And they ain't heard nothing else from nobody. And I don't care. I don't care. Your mindset has to change now because everybody is different and everybody acts and responds differently. And they are taking things personal. Everybody's in their feelings about everything.
Yeah, you're right. You are absolutely right. It's like people are so emotional nowadays. They're hypersensitive to any little thing you say. You make a joke, they take it the wrong way. It's like you almost walking on eggshells. You can't say nothing to nobody. It's like, what the hell? What happened? I thought we joke all the time. I think it ain't funny to you. Now you mad. Oh my God. Yeah, I understand though, like for real. I don't know. Like I say, a lot of things have definitely happened after the pandemic. I don't want to blame everything on the pandemic because I sure do. I'm like, oh, it's COVID. Honey, people are strange, but I know there are a lot of effects and things that happen after it. I don't know, but a lot of things happen to people just these last couple years. They're different. People are definitely different. And also, you know, you talked about people now want to do this and do that with you. You know, you also have to remember sometimes, honey, people just ain't on your level no more. Okay.
Yep, me and Diane
Y'all
was
ain't
talking
on
about
the
that at
same
South
level no
Africa.
more. Period. Y'all ain't on the
Yep.
same level no more. You
That
gotta
part.
understand that.
Yeah, that's true. When you elevate, you know, they say when you go higher, people go lower. So, you know, that it just how it be. And you can't, you know, you can't blame yourself or beat yourself up about it. Say, okay, well, you know what? I'm here in my life right now. This person is there in their life right now. You know, I wish them the best, but I have to keep it moving because again, life is short
Okay,
and
I don't know what
you'll
you're
just
saying, but
miss out.
you kind of went out. You might want to go back out. We kind of the your Zoom thing kind of stopped talking. You know, we couldn't hear
Oh,
what you were
okay.
saying. So if you
I
want to
heard
repeat
her.
it, that'd be good.
Oh, okay.
I heard
Oh,
her
'cause I didn't
too.
hear.
I heard her.
I didn't have.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, as long as they heard. But yeah, you know, sometimes we want to take our friends with us because they've been friends forever, and we want to take them all the way, you know, to the next journey, and it just don't work. It don't work like that, you know. It's not the way it's set up, you know. But there is a strong quote that say, you know, it's seasonal. You know, people come in your life for a reason, a season, or for a lifetime. So you have to pick which one or which category that they are truly to be a part of. Because we all think that, oh, we've been friends forever, we're gonna be together till we forever. Honey, it don't work like that. You
Necessarily
know.
true. Yeah.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
change.
Yeah. And everybody don't always, yeah, like I say, they don't have the same mindset as you. You know, they still stuck on doing this and this and that or whatever. Like I have friends who was like, you know, oh, we're gonna go outside during the, you know, we're gonna start doing this. And I really did make it happen. Like I really wasn't social at some point. I stopped. I think probably when I was not feeling well, you know, dealing with my health issues and stuff. You just don't really feel like being around a lot of people. And so I was like, saying like, well, I'm gonna start going back out. I'm gonna start doing things. And I really did do it. Like I wasn't just talking it. I really did do it, you know, because I like being out. I like doing this. But when you're sick or when you're going through stuff, you just don't want to do all that, you know. So I'm just glad that I stuck to my word and I said what I was going to do. And I didn't have to, you know, wait on anybody to do it with them. You know what I mean? So if I want to go somewhere, I'll go. Period. You know, of course, it's always fun when you're with somebody, but hey,
Yeah.
you can't just let people stop your life, and no matter what they, because like you say, when you ready to go, they ain't ready to go. So y'all ain't on the same page. And of course, people always think that, oh, well, I ain't going, she ain't gonna go. No, that ain't gonna how it's gonna work. You know, sometimes maybe, but not all the time. It's gonna work like that. So yeah. Tabitha, did you have anything to share? We was the question. I know you were gone for a minute. Because
I
I was
had,
just about.
oh, my phone died.
Oh, hell no.
But I got it plugged up now. No, it won't have no problems. So what was the question, honey? You so silly.
Yeah, I was gonna be like, nah, you don't know what I was going through my head just that quick. I was thinking, you know what, maybe before the Zoom call, I'm gonna be like, can y'all please make sure y'all phone is
Right. That might have triggered me to do, that might have, you know, like out, because the thing is, I knew it was like not low. I mean, I'm sorry, I knew it was low. I didn't know it was gonna die though. Like I thought I had more time. I mean, yeah, that might have been a helpful announcement.
No, because I don't know. I mean, do Zoom drain your battery a little more? You think maybe?
It could be. It might maybe the video, because I know videos do in general. So you know what I mean? And like that could, and the fact that I do have my camera on.
That could have
so
been why.
That definitely helps drain it. So like, and I can't, and I didn't, and with the Zoom on, I don't see the battery. I don't see it getting lower either. Because it's just because of my screen, it's not on there.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad you came back.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the question was, what are some of the ways you have taken things personally?
What's some of the things you take it personally? And that's the thing too, because let me say, when I was listening to him, I was like impeccable with your word. I was like, okay, I'm pretty good with that. Take things personally. Now, you know me, I generally don't. My grandma always said, your opinion of me is not my business. I promise I have taken that with me. I generally, it happens, but with something but then the other two agreements, I'm like, oh, okay, those are something I need to work on, making assumptions. I know we're going to get to that, but anyway, something I take personally is when people waste my time. And that's the thing too, because it's like on one hand, you try to not take anything personally, like that helps me being a teacher, because students lash out, but I know it's not about me. Like, you're mad at your mother and you can't, you know what I mean? So, but that's for real. Like, it's your mama is who you're mad at, not me. But no, so I tend to do that just with people in general. And sometimes people might even take it like, I don't care. And it's not that I don't care, but it's like, I know that's about you, not about me. You know what I mean? It's like, not that I think that I'm perfect, but I know it's everybody's perspective. So I tend to not take people's opinion of me personally, unless I've done something to them. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I'm gonna say when people waste my time, that's something I take personally. Just say for instance, if we have a plan to do something, and again, I have a busy life, but if I say I'm gonna do something, I'm going to do it. And days ahead, everything I do is toward that goal. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, if I'm trying to do, like Angela had a party on Friday, I did my homework before that so I could be free because I know it was due Friday. So, I arranged things with my daughter. You know what I mean? All of these things with Patrick that I do to make something happen if I say it's going to happen. And then when somebody just doesn't, I do take it personally because, like, well, do you know what I had to do to make it happen? You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. I don't mind if people can't come to something, no, but when people don't tell you until the last minute, that does frustrate me. I take that very personally because I feel like your time is more valuable than mine. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I understand people energy might be low. People have boundaries. You have an event. If we go somewhere, it's not a jail summons. You don't have to go. But it's appreciated if you tell me. When you don't tell me until the last minute, because I know you knew before that. Like, we meet in 10 minutes, I can't make it. I think you knew a lot before then. And that just really bothers me. Yeah. It always has. I've always been like that. It really bothers me when people do that because I feel like they think their time is more valuable than mine. So, yeah, that's something I definitely, that's not an opinion of me. I don't take those personally, but I take what I find to be wasting my time personally.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I do.
Did somebody say something?
I said ditto. I don't like that either. One of my friends that I was speaking of earlier, we used to hang out a lot all the time, like I was saying, and then it got to a point where we would make plans to go out, and every time she would cancel. Oh, I got a migraine. Oh, my dog's sick. Oh, it was always something. And so with her, it got to a point with me where we would make plans, and I'm like, I'm already thinking of something else because I know it's not going to happen. It's going to be something with her that is not going to happen. I hosted a baby shower. My youngest son is about to be a dad next month. So I had a baby shower, and I had a few people say they're going to come and help me set up. My friend was one of them. And when she told me she was coming I'm going to come over and help you set up and blah, blah, blah. I'm already thinking, I ain't waiting on her. So I actually set up most of the stuff, got all the decorations and everything set up the night before, and I still had a little bit the next morning that I was going to do, which my sister was supposed to come and help me, but I'm like, if you told me, I didn't even ask, if you volunteered this to me, why should I have to call you and remind, hey, you remember you said blah, blah, blah. But anyway, by the time she did call, I was already done because I'm like, what time were you going to come? Were we supposed to set up when the guest was arriving? Like, we're still supposed to be putting up decorations. I'm already done with that, So yeah, I don't like that either, Tabitha. Like,
yeah, no, it really. And like I said, I know some people like, like that's just, how they are. And it's like, I have a right to not come. It's like, of course, but I'm just wondering what be going through your mind when you're not coming. And I'm preparing to come. Like, again, I have rearranged and nobody asked me to, but I plan on being there. That's my plan.
Yeah.
So I have taken steps to make that happen. Meanwhile, you have not been and not informed me. Like I said, it's not a jail summons. You never have to come out if we have plans. We don't ever have to do anything, but just say it. Like, I don't understand why that's so hard. But I know why people don't want that confrontation. They know they don't want to come. But it's like, but I don't get mad. It's just only if you wasting my time. Then now I'm mad. But somebody like, you know what? I can't, because I get it. I do. But like I said, I try to not commit to something that I don't think I'm gonna do. I just don't do that. You know what I mean? It's like, if I think I can't make it, I'm not gonna play around. I'm not gonna say and if I say I might, it really is a might. But if it's a no, I don't understand the problem that I can't make it. I won't be coming. You know what I mean? And if I do say it, then I'm going to try. If I didn't, something happened.
Yeah.
Something happened that made it impossible for me. That's how I am. My word is, I try to keep it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is. So when people don't do it, it's something that's frustrating to me when people, I feel like they don't treat it the same way. But, according to the 4 agreements, that's something that you shouldn't take personally. So that's something I struggle with. Cause it's like, well, it's not about you. It's like, yeah, but it's my time though. So I did struggle with that a little bit, because again, it's like, you're not supposed to take anything somebody does personally. Like, well, it's not about you. And I believe that's true. Like, if it comes to your opinion or behavior or somebody mistreating you, but somebody not valuing my time, that is a physical, that's something, that's not somebody talking about me and being negative to me. That's somebody wasting my time, and that's a physical thing. And that you know what I mean? So I have a hard time not taking that personally.
I get that, because just say if you was in therapy and you were talking about boundaries and talking about things like that, that would be something we would address, where your feelings are valid. You are important. To the flip side, I feel like that's not something that should be dismissed.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if I agree with that agreement on that issue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's it. And then they said, try your best. So you know what I mean? So that's the best I can do. You know what I mean? Somebody wasting my time. It's like, yeah, like I said, that's it again. But as I've gotten older, the friends that do that, I don't necessarily hang with them that much anymore either. You know what I'm saying? And people have grown up. We're older now. You know what I mean? And people, I've made it known. So I don't typically have that issue as much. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, especially because, again, we're older, we're all busy. And, people tend to value time more. But it still happens. But yeah. With wishy-washy friends, I tend to not, hold a lot of space for them, because I just don't have it. I just don't have it.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, I've just gotten to a point where I'm so quick. I get up and go take myself out. Like, I'm not asking anybody. I'm not waiting on anybody. I see something I might be interested in. I buy my ticket and I go.
Yeah, heard that. I heard that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What else? This is questions. Sorry, 3. So this was the third one. Well, this is 6, so it's only 8 questions. The third agreement is provide some examples on why making assumptions can cause so much suffering. Don't make assumptions. Provide some examples why making assumptions can cause so much suffering. Then they said something about, do you assume the worst case scenarios? But I would just stick with the first part of examples of why making assumptions can cause so much suffering. I would stick with that.
Okay, so that's the question. Why does making assumptions cause so much suffering? Is that what you mean?
Provide some examples of why making assumptions can cause suffering.
Okay. Okay. Well, I can think of an example making assumptions, and I'm gonna say, when it comes to romantic relationships, assuming somebody is going to love you a certain way, I think that causes a lot of stress. You know what I mean? It's like, especially that's why the love languages, I think, is a valuable lesson, because people do love differently and receive love differently. But I think one of the biggest problems in a relationship is assuming that someone receives and gives love the same way you do. And that, I think, that causes biggest problems. You know what I mean? Like, if somebody's, way of, if their love language is physical touch and yours are words of affirmation, that's going to be a problem. because you like to hear it and they like to feel it. And it's like, again, that's going to, assuming that somebody, wants to kind of love, you want to receive, you're giving them their version of love and they don't feel love. And I think that's probably one of the biggest problems in relationships when it comes to assumptions.
Okay. What are some other assumptions or examples of assumptions that can cause suffering?
I have something. So I think assumption is also all about communication, because a lot of times we do, assume certain things as opposed to communicating with a person and talking to them and asking them, being more direct, like, okay, what is it that you mean? Was it this, that, and the other? So a lot of times we just assume that, how that old saying says, you make an ass out of you and me.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it's, also all about communication, but it will cause a lot of suffering. Like prime example, I had a important conference call lined up last week, and I just assumed, and when I read the email, that the lady said, okay, we'll chat with you on Friday. So I assumed they was gonna call me. And like an hour before it was time for us to talk, she sent me a Zoom link, but I missed it. And so they emailed me and said, Diane, we're waiting on the Zoom for you. And when I saw it, I was like, it was probably an hour afterwards. And I was just beat up about that all day because I assumed that they were going to give me a phone call and we were just going to chat by phone and not by Zoom. And so that's just, don't sit well with me, because I assumed, and I should have just sent the email and clarified and said, hey, how are we gonna, communicate? Is it via Zoom or phone call? But I just assumed it was gonna be a phone call.
Yeah. That's a good example though. It's definitely a good example. I would say making assumptions. Well, it's kind of like, when you're dealing with people on a regular basis and they do things and you don't know why they're doing them. A lot of times you don't know what they're going through. You don't know what has happened to them in their personal life. So you assume that you kind of feel like, oh, they must be in a little mood or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't really know if you don't talk to someone. Hey, Yolanda, how are you? You don't really know what someone is definitely going through. So I do remember hearing that statement a lot of times in my life about, you got to be kind to people because you don't know what they're dealing with and things like that. And, we as people just definitely going to assume it's, oh, she got attitude because of this, or she doing this, or she got this, you just come up with anything, but you don't really know what they're going through personally. So that is something that I need to work on because I be assuming a lot of shit. Now that is what I do. I assume a lot of things. So this book definitely has helped me, you know what I'm saying? Because I take things personal. I assume stuff, honey, my mind be gone. I got a whole story in my mind about why you did this and why you did that. And you can't tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about because I know what I'm talking about. So this definitely has, definitely going to use a lot of these 4 agreements, but I'm gonna have to take one at a time because, they hard, like you said, we do things out of habit, we're addicted to habit. So, that's not something that I've been working on and even know about. And like I said, they're just like, so the most, the things that you should already know, like this stuff we was taught as kids, one way or something, like this is so simple. It's like, but we don't use them because like you said, we have gotten so distracted and we have moved away from that. And, we have grabbed so much fear in our lives over, in adulthood. Because remember we talked about being a child and being an adult, so we have just come across so many things and we've taken those things away from us. Once you become an adult or a teenager and things like that, you just start to come into other things and distractions, and it's just things get in the way. and you start to have all these type of feelings and all these others, make other agreements is like what he's saying. You make other agreements, and we just, we push away all the simple things in life, which is loving someone. We don't need, we've all kind of like got away from just that simple word, loving somebody. A lot of people, the world itself and us as people, as human beings and in society have started to just like hate so much. That's why there's so much killing and so much brutality against Black people and just a lot of stuff going on. You know what I mean? It's just like violence and just a lot going on because we as a people have strayed away from the simple word loving. Like no one does that anymore. We don't even speak to each other when walking out the street or just speaking to your neighbors or speaking to coworkers. We just maybe speak and maybe one day we don't. It's just that's what we do. We in our own world. Everybody in their own little box, and that's the way it is. But yeah, Yolanda, hey, glad you landed safely, hon.
Yeah.
Glad you landed safely. So yeah, you can just jump in at any time. We just been talking about, of course, core agreements, and we just the last question we was talking about was don't make assumptions and maybe provide some examples of why making assumptions can cause suffering. Did you want to possibly answer?
Wow, I just ran in because I'm kind of out of breath. I'm sitting here enjoying. But that part, the key word of that word is the word itself. When you make an assumption, you're doing the first three letters is what you're doing or portraying to the world. But a lot of people do it. It's like, I don't know if it's like our conscience or something. I like how, in the beginning of the book, it was like, I don't know if you guys discussed it, that we become domesticated as humans. Our parents do it unknowingly to us, even like when we're babies. As babies, we understand naturally, oh, this is this because we have it, but then they break us down to, oh no, you need to eat this. Oh no, you like this. Oh no, this is this, or things that, or don't say that. They have a true, how can I say, an unfiltered conscience, but we break them down and domesticate them. The same way with the assumptions, because we've been domesticated, like, okay, well, this is what they were saying. Or when someone comes and says, she said, no, she didn't, that's not what she meant. What I'm saying? She might have said that, but that's not what she meant. But we do it a lot. And I don't know if it's because out of habit or something we've learned or it's something we've adapted to survive. But even though we adapted to it, it's the wrong adaptation of what we needed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anybody else have any examples of assumptions? Anybody else?
Just real quick, I want to how I think when we talk about female friendships, I'm thinking everybody on here has had a female friendship end, and a lot of times it's because of a lot of assumptions. And I really feel like so many things can be repaired with a conversation. You know what I mean? But it's just like we don't want to deal with it. Whatever reasons we have, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how many times a friend say like they stopped talking to them. I was like, oh, did you tell them why? They know why. It's like, are you sure? I mean, I don't know how they already know. They know. It's like, I don't know if they know. You know what I mean? It's like, because, and maybe you might have, now, if I slept with your man, well, y'all know why you ain't talking to me. But right. A lot of times it be a small kind of transgression. And maybe it's happened so many times. I done told her so many times and I'm tired of, it's like, but that's the thing too. So it's so unfortunate how female friendships end like that. And I've seen it so many times and I've experienced it. And I honestly, and I'm always open to a conversation as well. I am. But I feel like a lot of times it could be simply fixed by erasing those assumptions in that conversation. But it's a whole lot of assumptions there, and it's like, and it's shameful because a lot of times, I mean, I think female friendships are extremely valuable. Especially, the ones that have endured, time. And I've seen people throw away a long time of friendship just because of, something seemingly small. And this isn't a judgment, but I do feel like if it's somebody that you value, a conversation that can erase assumptions really should be had. So I just want to add that. Because again, I know we've all experienced that.
Oh yeah, I've recently experienced that. Last year, I went to Cabo with two friends, And they two have known each other longer than I've known them, but I've known both of them over 25 years. I met one through the other. But the last night there, the two friends got into a physical altercation. And I couldn't even believe it because we were on our way back to the resort from a cruise where we just had a good time. It was a really good time, but they got into a physical altercation. Anyway, moving forward, when we got back home, the one friend she was having a masquerade party for her birthday. So of course, the one that she got into it with was uninvited, but I still went. And so when I got there and we had a minute, she came up to me and told me her assumption about me and their physical altercation was that I had something to do with it. And I had absolutely nothing to do with it. Like, I wasn't even involved in y'all's conversation. I tried to break y'all up, whatever. So why would you assume that? She couldn't give me a reason why she assumed that, but she assumed that she and the one that she had the altercation with had a conversation, and she brought it up to her, and she was told that no, she didn't have anything to do with that, blah, 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 whatever. But ever since then, like, we don't talk, and I try to talk to her, but it's like, okay, I'm letting you know I didn't have anything to do with it. I actually let them both know that night, like, that's between y'all, like, we're all friends. And just because y'all two had a physical altercation, don't expect me to cut her off, and she's not to expect me to cut you off because I had nothing to do with it. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to like keep reaching out and keep trying to hold on to something that's not there. If that's your assumption, if that's what you think, that's what you think. We can't be friends, then we can't be friends. I'm just move on from it.
Lysandra, so even though she thought you had something to do with it, you still were invited to the party?
Yeah.
The other one wasn't though, but you were.
The other one wasn't, but I was.
Okay.
Well,
I'm trying to understand.
Yeah, she told me that at the party, she assumed that I had something to do with it. And I was like, what? Why would you think that? Like, I ain't have nothing to do with it. She was like, yeah, I talked to so and such, and she told me that you didn't have anything to do with it, blah, blah, blah. We didn't really get to go into it. I don't think that was really the place for it. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's like, whatever.
Okay.
Girl, maybe y'all need to set up a lunch date and try to talk about it.
No, we ain't gonna do that. Like, no, I mean, if you think that little of me, then like.
And Lysandra, you said you've tried to reach out, y'all. You've tried to have.
I have. And then what I realized about her too, the one that assumed I had something to do with it, is whenever she did call me, it was because she wanted something from me. Like, I don't care if it was information. She wanted information about something. She wanted to come over once to use my laptop for something or something. And I'm like, I don't want a person that's only or always calling me just when I can help them out with something. Like, if we're gonna be friends, we're gonna be friends. But if we're not, I'm cool with that too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Anybody else? I just wanted to add to what Tabitha was saying when she talked about, to communicate with people. And of course, they did definitely said it, and the way to keep yourself from making assumption is to ask questions, and that all problems will be resolved if we could just have good, clear communication. So, something that we work on, communication is the key. That's what they say. So, but it definitely takes two people to communicate, you don't want to be, like you say, with the time, you don't want to do all the work by yourself. You know what I mean? If you tell somebody where they're lacking at and they still don't do anything about that, and you know what I mean? Like, you both be on the same, willing to communicate and make resolve the problem. But yeah, this is something we all can work on,
Yeah, but
So-
Lashondra did the hard thing, because sometimes we don't walk away from things like that. She saw that it was toxic and that she was accusing her of things, but she walked away from it. So sometimes we just be like, no, that's not her. That's not her character. We want to give them the credit of the doubt and keep going. But I mean, it's really hard to do that, what she did. Especially when she was like, they've been friends for over 25 years. It's hard to do that.
It is hard. And at this point in my life, like if I have friendships, and I value my friendships, especially with women and men, but I value my female friendships and I want to hold on to them, but I just don't want it to be one-sided.
That is true. That is true. Number 7, the 4th agreement is always do your best. What are some examples of how practicing this agreement would transform your life? Do you tend to push yourself too hard? Do you know when you've done your best? So what are some of the examples of how practicing this agreement would transform?
Tanisha, I'm sorry, can you repeat that question again, please?
Oh, yeah. The 4th agreement is always do your best. What are some examples of how practicing this agreement would transform your life? Do you tend to push yourself too hard, or do you know when you've done your best? So I will start with the first question, which is what are some examples of how practicing this agreement would transform your life? I'll start. Normally on a day-to-day basis, especially like if I'm at work or whatever, I try to give my best. Only reason is because I don't know what else to do. Like if I sit here and I do nothing, that ain't gonna work. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I have to be productive. So my goal is to do my best while I'm working every day, because I feel like once you do your best, you don't have nothing else to question. Like if I messed up, oh my bad. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm human. But if you do your best, do what you're supposed to do, and you won't have any regrets, you know? So I've learned that in life, that's the best way to go. You know, just do what you can, do the best you can, and keep it moving, you know? And I'm saying you're gonna do it every day and in every aspect of your life, but try to make it a priority to just do best in whatever it is you're doing. So that way you never be lacking or have any type of questionable things going in your head, like, well, I should have did this way, man, I should have did this way, man, I could have did better. You know what I mean? And room for growth and to do even better as we're doing now. But that is one thing that I have been doing in my life, and I try to on a regular basis. I'm working, do my best, you know. I can also incorporate that into personal life and things like that, with personal relationships and stuff. So, anybody else?
I would say, I have a lot of clients that have anxiety. So part of them is not really knowing what their best is really trying to get them to come to terms with they might be doing their best, but they may have worry or just be anxious about not living up to some out there expectations. So I think is really being aware of what your best is and all you can do at that particular time, and being okay with that, which is hard, I think, especially for a lot of Black women, because we got this strong Black woman theme that's going on that I'm trying to dismantle.
No, that's true. And so I even know some people that's like, you know, in our age bracket that have a certain a quota where they should be at. You know what I mean? And if I'm not there, clearly I'm doing something wrong, because I'm supposed to be here. In my mind, this is what I have set at this age. I'm supposed to be doing this and this. And if I ain't doing it, I'm failing. But this is something that you made up. It ain't nothing that nobody told you. This is in your little mind that you said, well, since you was a kid or teenager, okay, by this time I'm going to be doing this, and by this time, and it don't always work like that. So I understand in your case where you said that they should feel like they doing their best, but they feel like they're not, because in their mind they should be even further ahead or whatever. So yeah.
I will say in this culture that's going on now, that is also what's going on, because these young people feel like by 30, they should be millionaires, have all the kids that they're gonna have. It's just like you still got a whole lot of life, like a whole lot of life that you have to live, but they feel like 30 is pretty much where your life is over. I
No,
know.
you're
They do.
definitely telling the truth.
They're old.
That's how
They feel
feel.
like they're old.
Yes.
At 30, I asked the question. It was like, would you rather live? It was like a would you rather question. Sometimes I ask my kids. It's like live to 40 and be a millionaire, or live to 80 and have a regular life. And it's like 40 a millionaire. It's like, okay, I said, well, let's define regular life first. I was like, regular life. I was like, y'all so quick to say that. Like, and y'all were, I'd be dead now. I'd be dead. And that's not right.
Yes.
I was like, oh, let's talk about regular life. I was like, a family, if that's what you want, vacation, a nice life. You know what I mean? It's like, but they see, social media, that they see these get quick millionaires, which a lot of times is fraudulent. Because they get a lot of things for free and they're not flawed how we think. But the thing is that I'm concerned about with my students, like they want to be a millionaire. And I ask, well, what pathway are you on to get you there? Like, that's the biggest question. It's like, you want to be a millionaire, but you don't hand in any homework. You don't do your grades. Like, you got D's to that. I just want them to make it make sense to me, because the math not mathing. I'm like, I'm here to encourage. I say, but let's be realistic. What steps are you taking? I was like, because you don't just grow up and become this mature person. I said, it starts now. Again, the things that you need to do, you need to start preparing for it. But kids are they're immediacy culture. Like, they one of my students said something literally like, oh, well, that's tomorrow me problem. Like, they literally said that, like, that's tomorrow me problem. It's like, no, that's today you problem. I was like, the habits that you need, you develop them now. You don't automatically become this person. These things you're doing now, the way you're sleeping in class, all of those things affect future you. And they even though they get it, part of them can't really conceptualize the fact that the person they are now needs to start taking steps toward the person that they want to become. And it doesn't just happen because you're an adult. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, like you said, they definitely do want to have that lifestyle, but they're not doing anything to cultivate that lifestyle either.
No.
So they're not doing their best, but again, I know they're young, they'll learn, but it's just,
Well, when I went to go see Michelle Obama, she talked about that, about how kids nowadays, they rushing to be something that they're not. And she was like, you have so much years. Like, why y'all trying to be 20 something in college or whatever, and you already want to be boom? Like, happen like that. She was like, I'm 58 years old and I'm still, you learn things from wisdom. Like, it just don't happen overnight, and that is so true. And I know the social media has a lot played into it, because they see everybody money, everybody rich, everybody blinging out, you know what I'm saying? Cars and whatever, that's all people, and they don't want to go the slow route into how to get it. They want it tomorrow. They want that money tomorrow. Don't nobody want to sit up in no job and work 80 hours. They want that money now. What it take for me to get it now, that's the route I'm going. Because whatever you talking about, that takes too long. They don't. They just want everything to, the next day or today. It's just crazy.
Yeah, so, with no plan how to get it.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of them out here trying to take it and taking from others.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah. Scammers. Like my students came up from college, they visited, and I was asking it. It was like, everybody is scammer. That's like credit cards. They're doing a lot of credit card scamming. Like, you can buy this much and get, basically a lot of identity theft type scamming. And that's what, a lot of them do, because they want these shoes and these clothes. It's like, again, they're very focused on their outer appearance. You know what I mean? Not that I'm saying it's not important, but even more than when I was in school, and I went to Whitney Young, like that was definitely a school focused on that. But the focus now, and I'm talking about, this phone that's $1,200, this belt that's $800. It's like when you know what I mean? Like, and no financial literacy at all. Like no financial literacy, no means of anything. It's just really, it's very toxic. It's very toxic, the kids, the way that they think, and toxic and, dangerous. And I mean, and I see it every day, and it's very concerning. It's very concerning to me.
So that's like a reflection of social media and reality TV that really isn't reality. And they believe that, a lot of stuff happened overnight. I was telling somebody about Cardi B, she's blown up, but I don't know if they remember the episodes when she came on, whatever the show she was on, Love and Hip Hop. Her teeth was a hot mess. She barely could speak English, but most people don't see that struggle. They make it seem like, oh, it happened overnight. It ain't happened overnight, because it was season after season where she was just like in the gutter, but most people didn't see that from her.
She's a stripper. She's a literal stripper.
Oh, she was a stripper? Oh,
yes.
okay.
No, I mean on the pole, Tanisha, an actual stripper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she paid dues.
She did, but most people don't see that. They'll see her instant success. They don't forget about when she was struggling. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times that reality, even though they see the season is coming out, 12 weeks or whatever, back to back. No, that's like months of recording, years, but they don't see it that way.
Yeah, well, one thing I know they can do is, I do like when, celebrities or whatever tell their true story. Like how Tyler Perry always say, I was homeless. Steve Harvey, I think he said he was homeless, living in a car. And they was literally homeless for real. And they should tell that story more often. Maybe people wouldn't feel the way they feel. You know what I mean? I just saw something the other day, came across social media saying Harrison Ford, he was a carpenter at 30 years old.
Wow.
Harrison Ford, one of my favorite actors, was a carpenter at 30? Because I thought he'd been doing movies forever. Is what I thought. I mean, damn, 30 for real? You was a carpenter? Then they said, well, we already know, they said Oprah got fired when she was 23. So they just saying, like, don't stop your life right now. Or they said something about Vera Wang. She just got her first big break when she was 40. So, they was just showing like, it's cool. Like, they didn't just become celebrities overnight. They went from the bottom all the way to the top. And I think
there's a lot of them like that. But most people just see the end results, like how Tabitha said, they want it right now, that instant gratification. They don't see that struggle, and they ain't even trying to put up that grind. So, like, she hit it on the nose. You know what I'm saying? They just don't want it. It's like, because I don't know if it's because social media technology gives it to you, like, oh, I can see everything. Before we had to research everything. I gotta go to the library, I gotta go this. Now with this social media, I can Google anything. Let me Google it. You know what I'm saying?
I definitely think social media has enhanced everything like 1,000 times, but even before in the 80s and 90s or wherever, where you had the dope boys out here getting money, pulling up to the schools in the cars, like that's what the kids had to look up to, and that's what they wanted, because they got a nice car, or they got this shoes on, or that and that. But yeah, it's crazy how everybody wants it now, and they don't want to have to work for it. They just want it handed to them.
Yeah. And if they don't get it, they gonna steal
I'll
it.
say, like with the generation now, though, their parents are young too. Like these kids don't follow icons like we do, like Oprah Winfrey and Steve. They don't listen to people like that. They listen to us and Boy Gotti and all
that's
these
true
young
too.
rappers and hip hop people that with gold teeth and different dreadlocks and flashy cars. So I mean, that's what they're looking at as opposed to what we grew up on, and how and people that we looked at in value. And so again, it is sad because they really don't have any, to me, great influencers. If you say, who is this and who is Dr. Martin Luther King and what did he do, they looking at you like, I don't know.
Like they don't have them, they just don't look up to them. They're looking in a different direction.
Exactly. It's there, for them, but they just, again, their direction is different. And then if you talk to them, when their parents come to the school, you talk to their parents, you look at and you say, oh, I know why.
Yep,
You know, I know why. There it is.
yep.
Well, that was something that you did make, because I was thinking like we look at people that's older than us. So you're right. The kids, they not looking at the people that we looking at. They looking at the people from their generation, these young rappers and stuff like that. That's the people they look up to. So you're right. They're not gonna get it. They're not gonna
Right.
get
Part
it.
of the culture is like the people that's their peers are people that literally have become millionaires off of being on social media, being a baby mother to a rapper. So that's that. I mean, if you coming from a generation where everything is immediate gratification, and then all you got to do is get pregnant by somebody that's on their way up.
I mean, baby, become a millionaire. What's that? 50
Yeah.
cents?
So, I mean, part of the issue is just the different culture that they live in, where it's like TikTok and social media is giving money just for making videos.
Yeah.
You know, where people are literally saying, "No, I ain't gotta go work at Burger King or work at McDonald's." Like some of us as teenagers had to work to get some of the extra that we wanted. All they got to do is sit and think of dumb videos or think of something that can influence, that could pop, something easy. Say, well, let me just make this video. Maybe this will pop. Let me go viral where I can get money. So it's just about immediate gratification, and it's just the different culture that they live in.
And that's where they at, you know, that just where they, and that's their mindset. Very
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. Oh well. It's crazy. I know that.
I want to say about this, the 4 agreements. When I didn't read it, but I kind of figured that's kind of, I wanted to hear about it to see if I wanted to read it. But I feel like all of it is really like, it's the foundation is meditation. Like the only way that you can really follow those agreements is really become to a point where you're very slow to react. And part of that comes from meditation and just, you know, centering yourself, which is hard for us to do as Americans, because that's not the culture we live in. The culture we live in is you got to do this and you got to do it now. It's like, so it's hard for us to slow down to really take in a lot of these agreements, because that's not how we're socialized. We're not socialized to do that. I just think about Eat, Pray, Love, when she went to India and she was praying, like she was at the meditation, and she was pretty much, that's all what she was doing. I can't remember what they call that place that she went to when she was in India, but it was like pretty much 24/7. That's what they're doing, was meditating, grounding themselves. And that's something that I try to get into meditation, tell my clients to do meditation, but it's even hard for me to really focus for 5 minutes to put things out my head and just really stay present in the moment. Because that's what it's about. It's about being present. That's how you don't react, if you stay present right in that current moment. What y'all think? Y'all just
Well, you know, the book, it did say that. So what you're saying, so it's hard for you to undo what we've been taught to do since we were a baby. So like I said, we really have to be in the moment. But from a baby, like even when my hairdresser does my hair now, she's always telling her kid, do this, do this, do this. She doesn't allow her child to actually think and carry out his day himself. He doesn't think for himself, because it's like she's on. Did you do this? Did you do this? Did you brush your teeth? Did you put the deodorant? Did you do this? Did you pack your milk? Did you do this? And she's just trying to get him off the ready, because, you know, she does hair in the morning, but the father takes him off to school. But the whole thing is he's becoming domesticated now. She doesn't believe in celebrating any religions. She believes in Kwanzaa, but she's domesticating her kids. I don't say anything. And I actually like the book because, you know, where I work at, I think people, I think that's my assumption. But they're toxic for no reason. You know what I'm saying? They get mad or angry or like they don't speak their true words. Like I have an employee, I asked him how many brothers he had, brothers and sisters. And he said, I got, he had to think about it. He was like 5. I'm like, 5? I said, so you the oldest? I said, your mother had 5 boys in the household? How was that for her? And he was like, well, it wasn't. 2 of us got the same father. Some of us is cousin. He just lied just off a rip. And I don't know him from point G. I was just trying to take him something because he always says the people at work is hating on him. They hating on me. They don't like you. He's a brand new employee. They don't even know you to hate you. You know what I'm saying? But that's how he feel. And I told him I was going to give him that book. He says, oh, this is what you mean. I got a whole library of books. I don't need any books. He didn't want any help because he truly believed he didn't need any help. But he did. You know what I'm saying? And we all need help. But he was like, oh, no. I said, I'm not going to give it to you if you're just going to give it away to somebody. Hi.
Thank you.
Hi.
Wave in the camera.
But I said I was going to buy. At first I said I was going to just drop it off on their desk. I said, but no, I decided I wasn't going to be messy. I was going to be impeccable with my words and say, I read this book and it really helped me and I feel it can help you. And just leave it at that. Whether they read it or not, I don't even care, but I'm gonna give it to them.
Yeah, honestly, Michelle, and the thing is too, because I feel like that you are a self-aware person, that maybe that's why it's reading it. It can, it's not detrimental, just because I feel like just in general, just from what I know of you, it's a lot of things that you likely do anyway, especially being in the field of counseling. But I do feel like it's a valuable read, because because honestly, just the way he put things was so simple, but like it did feel like light bulb moments. And I think a lot had to do with him just. Where's my book bag? Okay. I think a lot of things, even the way he just kind of discussed how that original domestication just really put things into perspective for me. And again, they may have been things that you thought, but sometimes when people give words to things that you do think and feel, I feel like it's a different way of framing it. So I do feel like it's a valuable read, for that. And it's a short read, but I do feel like it's valuable. I'm definitely going to take the 4 agreements. Definitely Make an Assumption is probably the one that I struggle with the most. And it's just habitual. It's like, because I know everybody comes from a different perspective. And I'm aware that like, no one's going to think like me, but it's certain things that it's hard to not assume. You just have to assume as an adult. It's hard to think that, it's hard for me to think, sir, like, there's no way you don't know this and you're an adult, but so I have to try to think, because I can't help that. Like, it's certain things I'm wondering, how are you existing without, and so it's hard. But at the same time, like, again, he's like, if you want to have a happier life, it's better just to not. So that's definitely something I'm going to be working on consciously, to not make assumptions, because definitely that's the one that I struggle with the most, I would say, from his 4 agreements, for sure. So yeah, I do. I feel like you'll find value in actually reading.
And also, the concept of the book was to get away from what you were taught when you were younger, all those negative type of things that were, that's in our head, like to get away from that, get away from those agreements is what he called it, and make new agreements. That's pretty much where he's basing a lot of the book on, how we come up with our own belief system, with what our parents tell us is from generation to generation to the generation. And you don't ever question or change your thought pattern. You just stick with whatever you were taught, and you live that way through life. And then that's it, So that's basically where he started all this from, is like, whatever you were taught, whatever agreements that were made when you were a child, it is now, as you're an adult, make your new agreements. The stuff that your parents taught you, they only taught you what they knew at that time. So do not be upset with them.
Or inadvertently taught you.
Yeah. Right.
So, because he was a good example about the mother and the headache. and the little girl in the voice, but you know, sometimes I don't think her mother was trying to tell her that her voice was ugly. It was just her mother had it and she didn't express it the correct way. So again, so the little girl had it in her head, and she goes, and a lot of times people say stuff to you, you know, oh, you too skinny, you too fat, you too dark, you too light, this. You speak so whatever, you know, they talk about everything, you know, but I don't know if they realize that's negative, you know, or they're just saying stuff just to be saying stuff, but it does hurt you. Sometimes you think, well, that don't hurt me, but eventually it does hurt you, you know, you're like, why do people say that, you know?
Mm-hmm. And it stays with you throughout your whole life. Like one thing that somebody can say to you that, and like he also said that, you know, we are groomed to love parents from as a child. We believe anything that they say, and we all have, because we're kids. So why would I to us about anything? You know what I mean? Or why would they be telling us the wrong thing? You know, so whatever our parents taught us, we take that, we live by those things. I know people to this day, almost 60, 70 years old, and be like, well, my mama said, and don't you come tell me whatever you talk about, because my mama said. And I be thinking, well, who the hell is your mama? I mean, did she write the damn book of laws? Seriously, like, but that's how it is literally grained. Like, it's whatever your parents teach you, you stick with that, because whatever they said is right. Everything they said is right. And whatever you're saying is wrong. And who the hell are you? You know, but I'm just saying, like, people do.
That's what it is.
People do live by it, and they don't. But they don't ever think to, maybe that wasn't right, or maybe I should change that, or maybe, you know, we can tweak that a little bit.
And we punish ourselves. That's what I really like when he was like, you know, the difference between, you know, animals are domesticated too, but if they do something and punish themselves, is one and done. We do something, it could be like from LaShandra's story earlier when she was talking about the young girl who kept bringing it up about the incident. It's not, we had a conversation, this is not what happened, it's over with. But no, I want to keep on saying, well, remember that time. You just want to keep bringing it up. We keep punishing ourselves over and over again. So that was a good thing that brought up.
That is, yeah. And then he talked about the emotions, you know. Oh, Tara, did you want something to say? Go ahead.
No, I'm saying, I'm agreeing.
Oh, okay.
With what Yolanda said.
He was also stating that we live in fear. You know, we as a society and as people, we live in fear, and that there's only basically two emotions, fear and love. So that's what it all boils down to. He stated, we have a dysfunctional dream of the planet, and humans are mentally sick with the disease called fear. When the fear is too great, the reasoning mind began to fail, and we call this a mental illness. You know, and he stated about forgiveness is the only way to heal. So it's just a lot of things I think Michelle would just help you and all of us.
That's what our news profit off of. The news stories. So, you know, you do have social media, you do have the reality, but most of the news stories are negative, and it's about fear, crime, things that will make you say, oh no, I don't want to travel. Oh no, I don't want to do this. Oh no, I'm not going to that city because it's so crime ridden. You know, they pump fear into us.
Yeah, because I know since I've gotten older, I'm really fearful. Like, and I see the change. I see it in my eyes. I see it. I used to can do whatever, but now I'm like, oh no, I can't do that. I'm too scared. Oh no, I can't do that. Everything is like, I'm scared. You know, for real. Like, I can't even bungee jump because I'm too scared. You know, I can't do this. I'm too scared. You know,
that's nerves. That's nerves.
Bungee jumping has never been on my to-do list. Thank you.
Right, that's nerves. That's nerves, and that's craziness.
That's common sense.
Right, that's nerves.
Dangerous.
Now I have zip lined. I've zip lined twice, but bungee jumping is not something I ever wanted to do.
That's
No
nerves.
skydiving.
I want to
no
do the indoor skydiving thing. What is
indoor
that?
skydiving.
I'll do that one, but to jump off of an actual plane, no, thank you.
Hot air ballooning.
I might be interested in that.
Okay.
Might do that.
But I said, you know, I started looking like, damn, I'm fearful of a lot of stuff. Like, I need to, you know, you got to break away from that, because that's what he said. You know, when we're a kid, we do anything. We don't have no fear, and babies, they don't have no fear of nothing. you know, and as we grow and we grow
That's
older,
because awareness. Like, awareness. They don't know what fear is. We have awareness. That's part of being an adult, where you have awareness. That's why I'm not saying he wrong or the book is
oh no,
wrong.
I
I'm just
understand.
saying that some of it is about awareness, because we know what's on the other side. If I jump in this, like literally when I was in Nigeria, I had to go up, I did this canopy walk, and it was literally going up. And I didn't want to do it, but everybody did it. I was like, what the fuck? I said, ain't nobody like nobody. Like, it's always one person that be like, girl, I ain't doing it either. Huh?
I said, how was your trip? I don't know. I haven't been on.
Oh yeah, it was good. It was good. It was
Okay, good.
And so
Michelle, you
going up.
ain't scared of nothing though. You do anything, you know.
That's a lie. That is a lie. I want to learn how to swim, but it's like
That's
it's
the one.
fear.
That's one. Because
It's
I want to
fear.
learn too. I've always been.
But I've been
scared
to
and I wanna
swimming
know.
classes, but before it's done, I'm gonna learn. But it's still
But
it's,
it's so fun. I was about to use that
Put that on
example.
my
I was
list.
about to use that example about swimming. I was about to say, like, fear is awareness is good in some aspects, you know what I mean? Because again, you have to have the knowledge. Like I said, I definitely want to jump out of plane, but since I had my daughter, it's like maybe not, you know what I mean? You just think about that kind of thing. But it's not good when it comes to things like swimming. That's why you have to learn as a kid, because as an adult, because I know how to swim, but I didn't know how to tread water. And I was going to Bahamas to swim with the dolphins. So I was like, I know I need to know how to tread water too. And when I say it was this 6'4" man learning how, the way he grasped onto this white lady teaching him, like she was like 5 feet and he was like literally, holding on to her. And it was like 4 feet of water. That's when our fear is, it's detrimental. Like I said, awareness is good as you get older, because some things are just not smart. Some things are just, we do need that adult perspective to be afraid of some things. But things like swimming, where we really don't have to necessarily be, but it's hard to learn how to swim when you're afraid. That's the reason kids learn better, because they just jump in. But as an adult, we're so afraid. That is literally why it's hard for an adult to, not because we're so afraid of drowning. We literally can't learn how to not drown.
And
even
you
with driving.
Like literally, you in the they teaching you in 4 feet of water. Like most of these 4 feet, all you gotta do is stand up. Like literally, I know how to go underwater, blow bubbles, all of that. Now, it took one lesson, a full round of swimming to get that. So now I'm trying to actually learn how to float, and I'm literally in the small, and I cannot let go of the wall. I cannot because of my mind. I cannot. I'll be like, pump myself up.
Why you need to read this damn book?
I still can't do it. But I one thing about me, it's always, everything is mine for me first. Like literally, I have to visualize, I have to talk to myself, I have to pump myself up. Michelle, stand up. All you gotta do is stand up. Just stand the fuck up. If you are doing it, just stand up. Just stand up.
Right.
But
the water.
meanwhile,
the water at your waist. The water's at your waist. You're not gonna drown. But
that water be heavy when you look. That water be feeling heavy when you're nervous.
I know.
Feeling like it's 10 feet deep. I actually just signed myself up to take some swimming lessons this year. And I have a little girl. I have a little girl, because that's like something on my bucket list. I really would love to learn how to swim. And so, and it's never too late. But, again, as an adult, our fear is stronger. But I have a little girl in my class, and she keeps saying to me, and it's a little white girl, she's so cute. She said, Miss Diane, I'll teach you. I want to teach you. And so I'm thinking about, when I do take my lessons, letting her come to be my, to help me, because I feel like, I know, again, like you say, you just stand up. But I kind of want to have her there just as someone, as a support system. I'm thinking like, okay, if this little kid can do it and help me, maybe I can learn from her, because you can learn from kids.
I would say, I don't know if you should, because you don't want to have the thought of her while you trying to learn. You really want to have no burdens to learn how to swim. Like, because when I first tried to go learn, I had my friend with me, and I was kept trying to go underwater. So I had to try to do something and have the pressure of her looking at me, judging me, Cause I won't go and put my head underwater.
That's why I'm not taking no
But
adult.
she a kid though. She a kid.
But
They're not
she a
gonna be
kid.
Yeah,
judging
she no kid. That make it even worse. Cause she gonna still, you gonna still may feel like she gonna judge you. I ain't got time.
No, no.
No kid.
No.
Not a kid.
No, I don't. She's
Hey,
sweet.
hey,
Oh, no.
I'm mad at Michelle. I'm mad at Michelle telling the little white girl, "What you laughing at, Rebecca? What's funny?" What's funny?
Listen, after you get a couple of lessons in, then you let her little ass come and she can, cheer you on them and make it seem like you don't know nothing. But you going in there fresh. I ain't got time to worry about you judging me.
No.
Say,
She don't trust the kids. She don't trust nobody.
Let me tell you something. I had I had a white, it was a white instructor, it was a white guy when I learned the first time when I went my first round of lessons. And he was like, blah, blah, blah. He said something. He said, look at me. And I looked at him, and that's when I let him pull me where I could float or whatever. And I said, let me tell you something. I don't trust nobody. I said, it's very hard for me to trust. I said, and I guess because he told me to look at him, because this is something I wanted to do. And I was like, you want to do this? You got to fucking trust somebody. Come on, trust. Trust.
It's hard. It is. It's hard. It's
But
hard.
good luck. I think Diane do it. I think we all should do it. Whoever don't know how to swim, let's go. This is gonna be my third round.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
is my
I'm
second
gonna-
round, but I'm really gonna give it a shot this time. I said I am gonna try, even if it's just the basics. And so one of the instructors, supervisor, I was giving her my story about why I want to do this. And she said, we will teach you how to do the basics. And she's saying, guess what? I'm looking for instructors. And I'm looking at her like, now you really taking it too far. And she said, if we teach you the basics, you can teach your little kids too. And I said, if I do that, oh yeah, that's gonna go viral because I'm gonna put that in the newspaper. I said, what? Me teaching somebody? Yeah, okay.
But
Which
you'll
one you
learn
going
it.
to,
Right.
Diane? Which swim place you going to?
So I get a free membership with the YMCA because I work with them. Well, I get half off. So I wanted to sign up. I really would love to do a private lesson, but it was a 6-month waiting list.
Damn.
And she said, do you believe most of these people on this waiting list is mainly older people, like adults or teens? I'm like, oh, okay. She said, so you're not by yourself. She says a lot of people out here that really want to learn how to swim or swim well.
Yeah, that's why I went to
Well,
YMCA.
yeah, I'll look into it. I know Tabitha daughter doing it, but I haven't found none with adults, and I can't be in the world water with no damn kids and shit. Nah.
They have adult classes.
I want to be in with kids, no adults.
They have adult classes there too.
It's gonna be like that Fresh Prince of Bel-Air when he had that butterfly costume on with them little kids. That's gonna be you, Diane.
Yes, and I do not care. I do not. Look, being with the older people, they be like, she's so scared. I don't even know why you took the class. Girl, you should just waste your mind. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
I don't know, because the babies they're gonna probably go faster than you. Like, I was in a class with it was 3 of us that were so scared, all 3 of us. And it felt better because we all were at the same level. So it was like, I didn't feel the pressure of rushing because they were gonna leave me. That's the one thing I will say that I did like, that it was like all 3 of us were scared together. We like 3 musketeers scared together.
Yeah,
We went
I'm
to the deep
scared.
end though. We went to the deep end, but still. Good luck. I hope you do it. Like, literally, I think that's something that was my goal this last year, was to really take swimming lessons. I mean, I feel comfortable in the water. So it was a big accomplishment. I haven't learned how to swim yet, but I'm making progress every time.
Well, good. Wait, that's
You still go?
It was around the holidays, so they kind of like stopped. So I'm going back. I got to figure out my schedule. So I'm gonna go back once I figure out my schedule.
You
But
pay every time you go, or is it like a monthly?
So I went to the YMCA and it was like I think it was 4 weeks, once a week. And then I went to this other thing where it was twice a week for like 4 or 6 weeks. I can't remember. And I liked that one better because I was going multiple times, but the problem was sometimes I had clients at night. So I was missing some. So I was like, I just have to get back where my schedule I can actually go and stay consistent because I think I'll get it. But those people was leaving me. They start floating and stuff. I was like, I need to go back to it's a
Well, my family always tell me they all know how to swim. I don't know how to swim, but they be like, just doggy paddle. I don't even know how to do that.
Right.
But that's
What
what they
is
tell me
that?
every time. Just doggy paddle. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, I learned how to do that in the deep end too. I mean, I still, like I say, I think it's everlasting. I don't think you're gonna learn how to swim in 4 weeks. 8
Right.
weeks.
You gotta
Like,
keep
you
doing
gotta
it.
continue to go and continue. One thing that instructor also told me, repetition. He said swimming is nothing but repetition. And
That's what he said in the book. About the 4 agreements, repetition makes the master.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
even if you don't do all 4, he's not saying do all 4, do one at a time, and then you know what I mean? And if you fail, try it again the next day. That's what he's saying with these 4. You know, don't do them all at once, because we human, we gonna mess up. You know?
That's what anything, if y'all think about it, repetition with just about anything, really.
That's
Braiding hair, you know what I mean? It's like, that's another thing I'm trying to learn how to do. Cornrow better. And, you know, just the more I do it, the better I get.
Yeah. I
repetition
took
is
a
the
class
key.
for that too.
Braiding hair.
I still didn't get it.
All right, y'all. I gotta take a nap.
I heard that.
Okay,
I
but
just woke up from a nap.
she walk off
Huh?
and exit before you stage left, we can pick one while we're on the call, or if y'all got the list, I don't know, Michelle.
Yeah,
I don't know if
I'll pick the number since I won last month, Tanisha. Is
you-
that
yeah,
okay?
just text me your number, tab. Everybody else pick a book. Michelle, if you want to make a book you picked last month, and just text it to me again, or because I know you. I don't know if it was last month, but that's the last text I got from you.
Yeah.
So you can try that book again if you want to make things easier. Everybody else, just give me whatever y'all book y'all need. Today, I know you have around in a while. Do you need a list? I don't know if Danae is still there or not.
Yes.
Can you send
I
an
need
updated
the
list?
list.
Okay, all right. So I'll just send it to Yolanda and Danae. Are the only 2 that
Okay.
need it.
Okay,
Correct.
thanks.
Girl, you
Okay.
know I need that list. Just put it in the chat real quick. You got it?
Okay. Yeah.
Right. I'm like, I can't find the girl. Send it to me too.
So just put it in the chat.
I put it in the chat and send it to y'all. Y'all let me know what y'all want to do. Just text it to me. And I'll see y'all next month on the 26th. I know that'll be Tabitha's birthday, so we know you will not be a part of us.
Oh, happy pre-birthday, Tabitha.
Oh, Tabitha,
Yes,
your birthday
happy
is
birthday.
before after mine. You're February 26th. February 24th.
Yes.
Okay.
February 26th. Yeah, Pisces.
Yeah.
Yes, Diane and Tabitha's birthday next month.
Okay,
So we might
okay.
want to see both of y'all. We might want to
Yeah.
see both of y'all.
But and I don't know what I'm doing, but you know, if I can, I will. Honestly, I don't. Patrick usually take me for the weekend, but I honestly don't know. So you know, if I'm around, I'll be here.
Okay.
Well,
All right. Well, it was good. Anybody got anything to share before we go? No. All right. So don't forget, 16/19, we're going on February 5th. Zell me your payment today, tomorrow, somewhere within a week, because I would like to order tickets. I waited a little longer because I haven't gotten the money yet from some people. So just, you know, send it to me as soon as possible. Text me and let me know what day you'll be sending it so I can order the tickets. Because February be here for you know it, y'all.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be last minute getting tickets, and I don't want them to sell out on us either. But yeah, All right, so see y'all next month, ladies.
Okay.
All right, have a good one.
Bye.
All right, have a good week. Bye-bye.